Imagine a bookstore dedicated to your favorite genre. It's the decor, the smell, the overall aesthetic revolves around your favorite thing to read. Now imagine you and me get in the car, take a little drive, and go to that bookstore. Get in, nerds, we're going bookstore shopping! I am incredibly excited for our next book adventure that is going to take us through Knoxville, Tennessee, and specifically to not one, but 2 bookstores that center around my personal favorite genres of books. So buckle up. So let me present to you the bookstore shopping tour, road trip. Oh, and by the way, I'm Melizza, and this is my channel. Our car is packed, and we don't have snacks, actually. We should probably remedy that. But we're on our way to a different location, and I thought, why not stop and find some bookstores along the way? Because no matter where I go, I'm gonna find a bookstore. On our bookstore road trip is McKay's Knoxville. McKay's has a few locations throughout Tennessee and North Carolina, but Knoxville is the first to open in the Volunteer State. The original store was founded in 1947 on this idea of being a bookstore where people could buy and sell their books at a low cost. That was obviously so successful that they have expanded into games, books, there's Funko Pops in there, DVDs, CDs, and all kinds of things for entertainment. But the books are the obvious star of the show. With everything in here being used and brought in by other people, they have such an expansive amount of books. There are so many corridors of shelves, and I feel like because they have such a big collection, they can get really specific with the genre labels like modern cowboy. This is the kind of place you want to go to if maybe you don't know what you're looking for and you want something to jump out at you or surprise you or read something you maybe never thought of reading before. As we were exploring the store, we found an elevator that takes you up to the 2nd floor where there's much less books, but a beautiful view of the store overall. The upstairs is where I found some of those other forms of entertainment, so many CDs. I don't even know how I would play a CD if I got one right now because my computer doesn't have a place for a CD, my car doesn't have a place for a CD, and that kind of reminded me of something I heard on a podcast recently about physical media and about how we can lose some of these great works of art because they were never uploaded to the internet. They're just on like their physical CD. So for that reason, McKay started feeling like a very special place to me, and I wanted to just look and touch all kinds of like records, these little mini records. I don't even know what you would play those on. The upstairs also had a very extensive graphic novel section with boxes of comics. I kind of feel like I was in The Big Bang Theory for a second. Was a little chaotic in there with good reason. It's a Saturday morning. What sounds better on a Saturday morning than going to a used bookstore? I mean, I don't blame anyone for being in there. So I got 3 graphic novels, comics, whatever you want to call them. The Black Panther for $2. I also got Return of the Valkyrie, which, fun fact, our car is also named Valkyrie, so it's kind of like a memento of this road trip. And last but not least, I got the all-new Captain America because I do want to challenge myself to step outside of my reading comfort zones. I've never actually read a comic, and I like all 3 of these Marvel characters. I love the Marvel movies and the Marvel universe, so I feel like this would be a good, fun place to start. Plus, they all look great together. I feel like I could make a really cute, like, wall display or something above my library. Now we are on our way to downtown Knoxville, where there are a couple more bookstores that I think kind of fit that idea of what we think of when we say trendy bookstore, but you tell me. arrived at our second bookstore, Union Avenue Books. I have actually visited this store before and I was excited to be back because it's a woman-owned bookstore that opened in 2011. They even have a shop dog named Scout, but she was out probably playing with her puppy besties when I came to visit. But you can check their Instagram to see her if you want. This is the type of bookstore that I imagine when somebody says picture a bookstore. It's very well lit and there are lots inside and you feel like they have a little bit of every genre. So if you were looking for a specific, more popular book, you could probably count on Union Avenue Books to have it. These types of stores also have more than books. They have little gift sections, and I find myself getting so distracted by these curated tables and the plushies. Oh my gosh, the jelly cats. But I also really appreciate these sections because you can find bookish accessories like bookmarks. There's always a little sticker carousel that I like to check out. And if you're like me, visiting a store like this in a place where you don't live, not only could you find a good read, you could find a good souvenir.
Little walk downtown through the touristy area.
I personally love a touristy area and all the weirdness it brings. This store marks the halfway point on our book adventure. Welcome to Addison's Bookstore. This is an independent bookstore that specializes in old and rare books, but it's also an event, meeting, or study space. Knoxville is home to the University of Tennessee, and I like to imagine that if I was a student at the University of Tennessee, I would come to a place like this to do some studying, do some homework, because fun fact, I was an English major. But as far as shopping for books, I am not in my rare and old book collecting bag right now. But I do like to come into these stores because one thing that these stores have are books on very specific topics. And with the internet, my go-to thing is to ask ChatGPT or Google about something I'm trying to learn, when not that long ago, you had to crack open a book and read about it. So it's always interesting to see what type of topics books were written about, and I know that these books are still being written. I just don't see them unless I go looking for them, which is where places like Addison's Bookstore come in. And since we're here, why not check out a locally owned store and get a little souvenir? If you've watched any of my reading vlogs, you may know that I love reading fantasy books. So imagine my excitement when I found out that Knoxville has a fantasy-themed coffee and bookstore. Can you ask for anything better? Welcome to Fable Hollow Coffee and Bookshop with an E at the end just to seal the deal. They do specialize in fantasy books, but they sell a little bit of every genre here as well. They host events like D&D playing nights or D&D learn how to play nights, book clubs, crafting clubs, author events. Basically, this is my dream bookstore. This store was brought to life by two friends, one who knew a little bit more about bookstores, the other who knew a little bit more about coffee shops. The drinks here are made with homemade syrups and they have cute fantasy themed names. I'm telling you, they thought of everything here and I ate it up. I did not want to leave this store. And if you're curious, I got a love potion to try. It's time for a car book haul. Starting off with what I got at Union Station, Knoxville, Tennessee bookstore. I got The Love of My Afterlife. I was actually set on getting a different book until I read the little synopsis about this one, and I've read nothing like it, so I decided to get this one instead. This is basically about a girl who dies, goes to wherever you go when that happens, meets a man, some sort of mistake happens, he gets sent back to Earth, and she chases after him. I don't know if that's as a ghost. I don't know if she gets a second chance at life, but I was hooked enough to want to find out, so we got this to add to our TBR. The last two are from Fable Books. No, Fable Hollow. I keep wanting to call it Fable Books. I ended up getting two from Fable Hollow Books and a coffee shop, but first I have to show you this really exciting thing. I got one of the Dragon Wing bookmarks, and you fold it like this, and then it sticks out of your book. Isn't that just adorable? I've had my eye on this book, and today just felt like the right day to get her. It is 12th Night by Alexine. How do we pronounce her name? The problem is, I know this author by Olive Lee Blake. I'm so tired. We've been in the car all day. I'm excited to see how she writes under her real name. Now for something exciting. I rolled my little 20-sided dice, got 4, which was fantasy, and this is the last of the books in the 4 pile, so this had to be made for me. I'm just worried I've already read it. Okay, let's do it together. Ooh, I don't think I've read this. If you like books with daggers to the throat, strong female characters, and cool magic systems, then this book is for you. That's literally printed right here on the front. We have Poison Study by Maria V. Snyder. Cool. All right, let's see. Choose a quick death or slow poison as the food. Oh, okay. So she's a prisoner for killing her abuser. She becomes the food taster, I'm assuming for the royals. To make matters worse, the chief of security deliberately feeds her butterfly dust, and only by appearing for her daily anecdote will she delay an agonizing death from the poison. Oh, so she has to do this every day. This definitely sounds like something I would read. Sometimes the blind date with the books can just go badly, which is okay, but I'm excited about this one actually. So we have one more, just one, one more bookstore left on this road trip through Knoxville, Tennessee. Let's go.
Our last bookstore is definitely a special one. This is The Bottom. Here's how they describe themselves. The Bottom is a nonprofit cultural organization serving our community through Black-affirming bookshops and arts programming. Rooted in a place of justice, we stand to build community, celebrate culture, and engage the creativity of Black people in Knoxville. We strive to cultivate a sense of belonging, togetherness, and safety for Black people in Knoxville and beyond. Founded by Dr. Anekshi Almin and joined by other Black women passionate about making a meaningful impact on their community, The Bottom came to be and was named after the first Black neighborhood in Knoxville, which has now been demolished. As someone who advocates for diversity and representation in the books that I read, and am constantly looking for books that I see myself in, coming into this store was a healing experience. To know that every book in here catered to the things that I was looking for and could see myself in, I was so excited to look around. I wanted to look at every cover. I wanted to read every synopsis. I wanted to look at every piece of art. Places like The Bottom are so important to our communities, and I really hope that we can start to see more of them in the areas that we live.
I know these books are gonna be good because the girl who was checking me out said that I have taste. So first we have The Kiss Countdown. This I've been wanting to get, and I'm so happy that it's in paperback and it's such a pretty cover. Ever since watching the movie Fly Me to the Moon, which does take place in Florida, like not even far from where I live, I feel like I've had a hyperfixation on space romance, which is oddly specific, but this fits the bill. We have a risk-averse event planner who something goes wrong, she has to move in with an astronaut who she doesn't believe is an astronaut at first, but he is, and now he's like preparing to leave for 3 months, but he's offered her a room in his house for free, so she takes it and they inevitably fall in love. They have to, right? They have to. I also got Their Vicious Games, which is a little bit darker than I typically read. It kind of made me nervous, kind of made me scared, but if you've read the book Ace of Spades, it kind of gives me that vibe. Black girl main character trying to get into a mostly white, uber rich, upper class New England university, and she has to go through some vicious games to do it because it's run by one of the university's oldest, aka scariest families. We're back home now. Our books are cozy in their TBR cart, except for The Love of My Afterlife, because I actually have finished this book already. I'll be saving all of my thoughts and my full review in my fall book wrap up at the end of the season, but I can say that if you are looking for a cutesy little rom-com that'll make you smile and that works as a great transition into the fall, especially Halloween with ghosty vibes, I would say this is a good one. That is it for this episode of the bookstore shopping tour, but if you want more and you haven't already, go watch the Florida bookstore crawl and the Colorado shopping vlog. Let me know in the comments where I should go next, and of course, don't forget to subscribe so you're one of the first to know about my next new video. And until then, bye!